All right, I'm gonna do it again. I'm sorry, y'all, but I cannot get the Fomorians out of my head. I don't know if it was something from Lord of the Rings, you know, or something, but they just sound so familiar. Got a little bit more information on the Fomorians, so I'm gonna put this out here and see if anyone else recognizes this stuff. Okay, so there was I read some more on Wikipedia and I watched some YouTube videos. So I was writing stuff down as it was coming to mind. This was a genealogy from Wikipedia, and I also seen it once again too in a YouTube video where they were trying to show that the Fomorians come from Ham or Cham, which would make me think that they have something to do with those Hindu stories and all those weird gods, the gods with the body of a man and the head of an elephant, with and I'm gonna put it together. I know what I'm thinking. When they're claiming that it comes that you can chase find the Fomorians back to Noah, and they say it's from Cham, then right away I'm thinking, you know, where have we seen these gods? Can I find any of these things that look like something that are amongst the people of Cush put the Canaanites sought on? Wow, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just literally copied this down as I was, just going through it because I've never seen anybody show the etymology of Noah being, Chinese, but they were trying to use the word fo, F-O, meaning flood or underwater. That this was all where they got where they think the first part of Fomorian comes from was from here and Noah and the flood and the whole thing. But as we know, we are Afro-Asiatic, so I know we're not the Chinese, but it was just this website. That's how they put it. This should be here. But as they were going over stuff, I started thinking about the Phantom Island. And I give credit where credit was due. I first heard about this with Lex Will. He was breaking down that the Romans talked about an island where people, blonde hair, blue-eyed people, were pale, and demons would come up out of the ground. This island would come to the surface, right? They were able to come up out of hell, and they had to get their way off the island, make their way to land, because the island would submerge itself underwater after so many years, right? It's like so many years it comes up, then so many years it goes back down, right? So I thought right away, when you keep hearing the Fomorian might mean from the sea or underground, it's both, right? I think it's both, because this is a land or an island that comes up out of the sea, right? Shows itself after 7 years, and then submerges for a year or 7 years, or stays above water for 7 years, and then it submerges again. And then you start to think about, the island of Sicily and these places. How did these people end up on these islands in the middle of the Mediterranean, right? The Fomorians practice child sacrifice of the king's firstborn. So right away, as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about the Conan the Barbarian stories, right? Where stuff like that kept happening. And then you had these, Conans and the Kumarians, I started noticing that as I was thinking about it. They almost all have this so-called Marian part where nobody seems to be able to know where it came from. There's suggestions that it might have been an old Irish name for demon or phantoms. They believe the strongest one is that they are the Carthaginians and from North Africa, that these things, these demons that would come out, these things that were let out of the earth, they were allowed to immediately assimilate into the Carthaginians, right, and spread out from there. And this is why they go into it seems as if they go into they invade the Caucasus, the Caucasus, and that's where they said the Aryans start picking up, which I noticed that it's not the same, but it was close. The Aryans pick up records that here you have these, uh, I forget the name they called them, but they have these people that started coming out of Asia into the Pontiac steppes of Asia, which made me think when about Arthur Scott Jr. as he does the whole the making of the white man, as he was reading about the people that were in the steppes of Asia. I couldn't help but think, even though they didn't say it, that quote unquote these people, these Fomorians, the characteristics of them are the people that he was reading about that were locked away in the steppes of Asia because of their mischief, their want for trouble, the pen people against each other and stuff like that. That's what it reminded me of. It's like these people are one and the same. And then all these Conan stories. Like, check this out. I've done it before, but if you look at a map of Conan the Barbarian, the land that he comes from, it's North Africa. And like I said, the Carthaginians, North Africa. Oh, I wrote that R because it doesn't have the R in it, but I thought, I was just, fooling around, just taking notes that I just started noticing, they all have this so-called phantom word that they can't figure out where it comes from, from Fomorian. Yeah. They were saying that the gods that these things mostly worshipped and focused on were Baal, and that was the male version. The male god was Baal, and Tanai. I hope I pronounced her name right. I probably murdered it. It was the female version. I was looking her up. It's the first time I'd even heard of her until tonight. I was looking her up though, and her hairstyle reminded me of one of Padme's hairstyles from Star Wars, where she loops her hair around. And they couldn't figure out what it was. They were like, it might be some type of modern technology placed on her head like a helmet. So I just, just things I seen as I was going through there. But I'm telling you, these Fomorians, I think they are the key to what we are looking for. And, with new knowledge, I think we're starting to be able to piece things together. But I think that they are what people mixed with. I mean, because like I said, if you just pull up the image of Fomorians, I mean, literally they have dog-like creatures leaving North Africa. They stand up like a dog, or stand up like a man, I'm sorry. Their joints are shaped like a man's, but they still have the ears, the nose, and the face of a dog. And then you think about, these stories where people, that kind of look like dogs. Well, the Fomorians mixed in, at least from what I understand right now, just hold on, just bear with me. The Fomorians mixed in with the Carthaginians and started spreading out, from what I understand. But yeah, some of them have the face. They have the whole body of a man. They have like the elbows, the arms, the fingers, but they have a dog face feature. They have some that are like the fish from SpongeBob. Like they draw those fish, look exactly just like that. They didn't even try to put a human face to it, but then they have like with the help of others and Lex and others that have pointed this out, you have people who tend to have blonde hair, blue eyes. People we call Europeans have SLC 24A5, right? And that's zebrafish genes. And then you have, I was watching, a video on, it was either blonde hair or it was blue eyes. It was one or the other. I think it was blue eyes. I was looking that up. How they said all people with blue eyes are actually cousins. They're all related to each other, as far as Europe's. But they said this also is a trait that's found in there was something that's in the blue-eyed people that's found in goldfish. And I started thinking, isn't that funny? Goldfish are kind of like dopey, and then you think about some of the blondest people you meet, they're all dope. They always say blondes have more fun. Why? Because you can persuade them into doing anything. Look at most the image of your blonde haired dude. You think about surfboards, radicals, or whatever you want to know. That kind of dude. Kind of like an airhead. You don't think the same way about a redhead, right? But yeah, if you get a chance to check that out, because I've got a feeling, or maybe it's just I'm trying to find something. I don't think that's what it is, but I'll be willing to admit it if it's the case. But these Fomrians seem to be the monsters that have mixed in with something, or mixed in with people. So just check it out if you can.